Hey guys, good evening. Good evening. Checking out the scene here. We don't have too many takers. It seems like our channel is growing. I don't know where they're spending all their time. Maybe they're in the beginning of all these videos and they're just getting caught up. Welcome. Anyways, listen, I've been understanding at least when I play back some of my videos of this business of the Anunnaki and all this business. I related to the Bible because it contains the code, and so if it contains the code, then it's probably talking about something in our Bible, something I'm more familiar with. And that even if they're using different terms, like we're calling Jesus alive and stuff like that, but these guys they're all known as being like lizards. They're all of these stories about Inky and all these people are creating like they're from God knows where. And so they get all mixed up with the stories of the fallen angels and stuff, and that this is what we're supposed to recognize as the people that inhabit Earth in the beginning times are giants, all right, and basically that's what these Anunnakis become, this idea, because they become the Nephilims, and this becomes the guys that mix with the daughters of Earth, So the trouble is that this is a spiritual story. These are still, even, if you want to call it mythology or what have you, they all take on the same stories. They take on the same idea that someone from Earth or from heaven brings us our knowledge, basically. Okay. And that in all of these stories from Buddha and all sitting underneath a tree, and then all this knowledge comes and falls in his lap like a ripe fig. All of the stories are talking about that. And when we see pictures and things of Buddha, they're giant, they're big. But you have to think about this, that this is the earth, the new mind, to be restored and brought back to life has to do with taking you from the animal instinct and bringing you through a series of instructions to teach you how to change your mind for the better. All right. And that there is an actual, to take away the animal instinct. And so this animal side of us is being looked at as being strong and being mighty. And that's what large is. There's giants over there. Well, the trouble about this is that if you were to take an instance of the story of, which I do all the time and hardly anybody ever reads or listens to it, and that's the one with Christopher, Saint Christopher. He is a giant. He wants to serve God, or the baby, the child. And his story goes from one thing to another, looking to serve the strongest man in the world, and then finds out that it's really a child. And whatever it does, it takes him a lot of extra energies to get just to this place. And when he gets up, he stands up and wants to serve him with all of his strength and all of his might. And he stands up with the sword, and he's ready to do his business and help him. The guy at the gate says, well, you can get rid of that sword. We don't need that. That's not the way it's going to do it. Says he wants you to sit down and, well, what else can I do? He says, I want you to sit down and meditate. And this is to belittle this giant. And the giant says, come on, there's got to be something else I can do, please. Come on, sit down and meditate. And so it says, well, you can ferry people across this river here because it's important. That'll be serving God. And so he did that for eons and eons and eons until that one day where he began to slip And he himself learned what it was meant to be afraid. And he thought, oh my God. And then when he had the Christ himself riding up on his shoulders and making him heavier and heavier and heavier and slipping, and he cries out, God, help me. And so it's the idea that to break you down to nothing, to bring you to your knees. This other side of the world, this other side of life is to be brought down low. You have to, this is to take the monster, take the burdens off the back of this guy, and then crawl through and break through to this other side. The child is born in this idea that when you come to God, at this particular instance, you've come down to your knees and you just have done enough. That's these stories. And when you finally get down here, it says, okay, all right, come on through. But this is a holy place, and you can't have any shoes. And so now the story starts to go into symbolism, and you have to learn how to take off your clothes and go follow Jesus. You have to learn to turn into the child and move on. That's all these ideas are about here. It's about reforming the mind and taking you from this animal side, this giant side, and bringing you to a better place. But we find in our Bibles and in these stories that this is a God-given thing. That God made us go through this. And if we can take the heat off of God, that we actually agreed to be this Nephilim, to be this fallen angel, to be disconnected from God on purpose. Is that so hard to understand of all of this? I mean, is it that hard to understand that when we are being the Nazarene person, when we're following after Jesus, that we have to we have to run around unclean, unconnected to God, be this fallen angel that we're worried about and we're thinking about as some kind of crazy outside monster? You are this God. It's not saying that they never did exist in time and stuff like that. I'm telling you what the story is telling us and telling me and showing me, and that I'm sharing with you, that it's how do we maintain our own balanced mind, and how that balanced mind reflects the light of God. It fills you full of the truth. And that through you and through this, all this wonderful information flow from the cosmos. But until then, you are this fallen angel and you're not doing anything for God except, the works. And so when those works are done, you get to flip over to this other side, and now we become that winged serpent. We evoke this particular part of us inside. It's known as Jesus, known as the rod of God through Moses' time. It's the chakra system. And we work our way through it, and we bring this back to life because it's not there. We came down without it. We're fallen angels. I remember leaving my father's place when I was in school. I had to leave the car behind. I left everything. I was on my own, you know. So when it comes down to it, and like I've learned all my life, I had to go and do it myself. And we find out in our Bible, this is how you do it. And anywhere, any place on earth that you do it, make sure it's in a dark place. In our Bibles, it says just go into your closet and shut the door. And so once you can understand that your closet can be anywhere on earth, and when you shut that door, it's shutting off that mind. And this is a type of death. This is a type of dying, a type of killing yourself, of betraying the flesh. That you sit down in meditation and then you connect perhaps to this place. You have to come in the name of God. And so that idea is to come in spirit and truth, or you're not going to get there. And that means to go into meditation, shut down Father, shut off the outside consciousness. Put Father to sleep. Father is Satan. Father is the mean. Father is the beast. Father is the Goliath in you that we have to hide, the ego He is the giant that needs to be put to sleep. And all the stories aim for the center spot right here between your eyes. Even Jesus dies between the two thieves. Everything points towards, if your eye would be single, your body will fill with light. And get a visit, at least in these days, in the Sumerian text by YouTube. YouTube brings the light into the boat. It is him that fills you with light. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And those stories are all saying the same thing. There isn't anything being skipped or being la-di-da'd over and stuff like that. We are the fallen angels. We came to earth. It's the only way that we were allowed to even be here. That the whole point of us even feeling and seeing and loving, hating and dying and all of this, the crime, the whole business cannot happen unless we have this body. So that makes us a host. We are the Lord. We are the Lord of hosts. And we carry about our little child inside us, wrapped up in swaddling clothes. The part of us that God wants us to set free. And until you set him free, he's dead. And so are you. I'll chat with you soon. Hope you got something out of this.